I'm going to be ranking the top 10 strongest beans or groups of beans from the Killer Bean Forever movie and Killer Bean Forever series. In order to keep things level during this video, I won't be including the following 3 beans in this top 10 tier list. Firstly being Kent, the Shadow Bean leader, or as you'll be able to see in episode 2, is the bean that kind of looks glitchy and walks through walls. Even though, yes, he does look strong, and I think that if there's a new Killer Bean movie, this guy will have the bullets pass through him. But I'm not going to be ranking him because he doesn't have nearly enough showings to gain a proper reading of how strong Kent really is or how powerful. And I'm also not going to be including the Sniper Bean from Killer Bean episode 2 as well, who fought alongside Reximus against Killer Bean, because yes, she did seem like a powerful bean, but again, not enough showings, and the shot that she fired at the very end, we didn't actually see if it hit or not, and if it did, it probably got blocked by Max. So that's what I think happened. And finally, Cappuccino. It does seem like a really odd bean, and he does have a lot of showings, because a lot of the time where he expressed his strength was alongside his beans and his henchmen. So on his own, he isn't really that strong, and actually got to one shot by Dark Bean. Number 10, Dancer Beans. At the beginning of the movie, these are the beans that are seen doing the dance routine, along with Cappuccino's nephew. Now, I rank these beans number 10, as not only did they all die by the opening scene, they also didn't even land a hit on Killer Bean, and didn't even make him feel any fear or anything, so I rank them in 10th place. Although I gotta say, if it were a dance contest, they'd be all across the board. Number 9, Warehouse Beans. So, I rank the beans from the warehouse on Main Street as number 9, as they made up for their lack of skill in sheer numbers, and they could overwhelm anyone, and they're probably the most numerous out of anyone on this list. And using this advantage, they managed to get Killer Bean to see drowned. However, they eventually died at the climax. Number 8, Police Beans. This is another very numerous group of beans. However, they managed to survive through all their encounters. I'm not quite sure about the ones that faced Jet Bean though, but with the help of Detective Cromwell, they managed to put up a good fight, and I think every character who was against the police beans were making an active effort to avoid them.
Well, it's here.
His superior intellect has gained him an advantage in this world. He managed to start a conversation with Killer Bean in order to get some vital information, and actually earned his respect enough for Killer Bean to hand over his weapons and let himself to be taken in. Now, in my eyes, this respect counts as strength, and using it, he was able to become the only character from the main cast that survived an encounter with Killer Bean.
It's game time, but there's no responding from this game, Killer Bean. Time to see how good you really are.
Now, I rank him number 6 because of his weapons arsenal. In the Killer Bean episode 1, he was showcased to have a plasma cannon, a giant mech, missile launchers, and a bunch of beans at his disposal, including the Sniper Bean.
Where are you, Kesler?
You're too late, Killer Bean. I'm in my bathroom now.
I rank Kesler number 5, as he is a retired Shadow Bean, and his computer knowledge has helped him construct various technologies such as the drone, and utilizing other technologies such as the CPU to his advantage. I also rank him number 5, as he was one of the beans that Killer Bean struggled against his drones, even briefly for a bit. And if he had stayed in his bathroom bunker, then he probably would have survived Killer Bean.
My squad has been with me through hell. I led these beans through 3 tours of duty, accumulating a total of 15 medals of honor, 11 purple hearts. Sure, we lost a few good beans, but you should see what we did to the other day.
The mercenaries are the group of beans employed by Dark Bean to take down Killer Bean, or at least stall him enough for him to arrive. Now, I rank them number 4 because they managed to make Killer Bean feel fear with the help of a rocket launcher and the 50 cal, and they could have killed him. In fact, I'm kind of surprised they didn't, but I feel like it's because they rushed in too fast and didn't rely on strategy when taking out this Killer Bean. Now, I think that they could have had a realistic chance at taking down a Shadow Bean, and they were definitely expressed to have superior fighting strategy, weapons, and tactics than the Warehouse Beans. they also came a lot more prepared.
I can finally kill the beings who deserve to be killed.
Is the Shadow Bean, who has escaped the Shadow Agency and has been Killer Bean's target since the start. Dark Bean is my personal favorite bean, and he has excellent tactics and knowledge, and he has made a lot of connections which has helped him against Killer Bean. Now, I rank Dark Bean as the third strongest because not only is he a Shadow Bean and he has Shadow Bean level skills such as probably driving, weapon handling, surveillance, all those, but also he managed to have like a 9-minute talk or something with Killer Bean and actually managed to convince him, even briefly, that he isn't the enemy. Like, he didn't hide. Like, sure, some other beans could have survived him by hiding. Dark Bean managed to convince Killer Bean that he wasn't the enemy and that the Shadow Agency was. But for some reason, I think he tried to shoot Killer Bean, but his gun jammed, and then Killer Bean thought that as a threat and shot him. I'm not quite sure, but he kind of raised his guns for a second right at the end of that talk. But it was a good character, and even managed to, using his sniper in the gold versus silver scene, he managed to gain a good sort of viewing of what kind of opponent he's facing. And lastly, Dark Bean had a chance to kill Killer Bean when he blew him up with his motorcycle, but Cappuccino wanted him alive.
Looks like what we got here is a standoff.
And you might be surprised I didn't put him up in the first place as he managed to kill everyone, but there's a good reason. So, firstly, Killer Bean is the protagonist of the film, and he has Shadow Bean level skills such as driving, weapon handling, and all those tactics. And he also has incredibly fast shooting and with incredible accuracy. Killer Bean has managed to take down and eliminate various threats such as the dancer beans, the warehouse beans, and he could have taken down the police beans. He could have taken down Detective Cromwell, didn't though for those two, and he killed all the mercenaries, all of them on his own, and Dark Bean and Jet Bean. And throughout the movie, Killer Bean has used his ability to dodge bullets somehow to evade the various attacks from other beans and managed to walk away relatively unscathed, and now faces himself against the Shadow Agency. I recommend number 2 because in his fight with Jet Bean, who is number 1 as you can guess, Jet Bean had many chances to kill him, but he didn't treat the fight like he was trying to kill Killer Bean, or at least not completely. He was treating it like a match, and that is something that martial artists do, which you could tell Jet Bean is, but that is one of the reasons why Killer Bean managed to lose, because Jet Bean had the counter to his guns, i.e. the bracelets. I rank Jet Bean number 1 as I think he could have taken down every single bean. Now, if you were to send Jet Bean after Dark Bean, things might get a bit complicated considering the approaches. I might make another video on that. But Jet Bean, I think he could have killed Killer Bean right at the end. He could have just gone all serious and he could have taken his gun actually. He could have approached him right outside the bar and shot him. But he gave him the guns, gave him a fight, and he still came out on top. And that's something that no other bean managed to do, because Killer Bean struggled the most against Jet Bean than any other bean in the series. And even though, yes, he won using that big brain tactic with the bullets that I think could have been avoided because of how you could see it coming and how complicated it was. There's no way that stuff actually works. And Jet Bean's bracelets allowing him to dodge bullets, and they might even be weighted, making him the strongest character in the entire Killer Bean series. So that is why I rank him as number 1. In case you're wondering, the 11th place is the bartender that held Killer Bean at gunpoint and Detective Cromwell in the bar scene, just because he probably had the chance to kill Killer Bean during that scene, but Killer Bean also the chance to kill him, but neither of which happened. And finally, number 12 is the chef, also known as Chintow from Bing Bao's Eat Food in the restaurant scene. He openly attacked Jet Bean, which is something that not a lot of other beans did, not even those police beans did, and he didn't even last a second, but he came at him strong and got kicked. Now, the reason I ranked the chef like this is because he, when the police bean who insulted him got kicked, he kind of flew across the room, but the chef kind of just dropped instantly, which kind of leads me to believe he's a little bit stronger than the rest. And that is the final list, in my opinion. If you have any suggestions, if you have any reasons why Killer Bean should be ranked above Jet Bean or something else like that, then just tell me down below, and I'll see what I can do. Kill die, my name is Bye.